Hey there, it's Wendy. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here today. I have a fun technique for you called watercolor spritzing, or at least that's what I'm calling it. I have supplies listed out for you on my blog. They are also in the description below the video, and you can see a sneak peek of them here. I'm featuring some retired products today. These are some of these items are on the retiring list, and some of them are already gone, but I really wanted to feature them because I'm part of a blog hop with Brian King. He's a friend of mine, and he asked if I would be his guest blog hopper. And so we're going to use Just Keep Swimming stamp set because guess what? It's retiring and I've not even used it yet. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to use it. And then, of course, I'm using 3 of our retiring in colors, which is Delightful Dijon, Mint Macaron, and Tip Top Taupe. If you hear that weird sound in the background of the video, that is my dishwasher. So as I stamp these little monsters, I'm going to share with you what's happening in my house right now. It is currently 9 o'clock at night on a Monday night, and I'm recording this video for you because my husband just left and got called out on a call. My husband is an apprentice lineman, power lineman, and so when he has on-call week, that means basically that I work extra hours because we were just relaxing and watching reruns of Alias, and that stinking phone rang. I call it the bat phone. So in the background, you hear this weird noise, which is my dishwasher. Why would you hear my dishwasher? Because I record my videos right next to my kitchen, and I started my dishwasher thinking I was ending my night and going to bed. And so I thought, oh, I'll run my dishwasher tonight, so in the morning I'll be all ready to record my video and do my voiceover. And then the bat phone rang. So when it rang, off he went, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get a little head start and um, do my voiceover now. So I am now spritzing with water these little monsters that I've stamped, and you can see that the color is running away from the monsters, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So it kind of creates this little halo around them. So it's almost like I've done loose watercoloring around the outside edge, although I haven't done anything, which is really handy. So I had to let the other one dry, but I already had this one dry for you so that I could get going here. And so you can see the paper's a little warped, and now I'm using the heart from the same stamp set, and I'm stamping it off twice. So I'm inking it up, and then I'm stamping the heart off 2 times over on the side, and then stamping it all around this monster. Now I'm stamping the Delightful Dijon hearts around the Delightful Dijon monster, and the Tip Top Taupe hearts around the Tip Top Taupe monster, and the Mint Macaron around the Mint Macaron monster. And so it kind of just gives me a little bit of a background and some texture here without doing anything crazy or difficult. And the layer that I'm stamping here are little teeny tiny bitty hearts that are just stamping right over the top of the monster that's already there. In the video, it's a little bit hard for you to see the little hearts on top of the monster, but I want to promise you that it adds a ton of texture to the monster itself, and it's really, really sweet and cute. So I definitely recommend adding that element. Okay, so I'm adding my hearts here, and then I'll be adding my Mint Macaron hearts as well. And then I'll be finishing off the monster by stamping basic black archival ink to stamp their bodies. Now there's something I do want to share with you about the basic black archival ink. I really recommend this when you are using photopolymer stamps. Something that a lot of people kind of don't understand is StazOn ink, StazOn black ink is great. It's a permanent ink, but there's some element to the StazOn ink that causes it to be sticky when it is applied to a photopolymer stamp. I don't know what it is. There's some science there that causes that to happen. And so then when you go to stamp it, especially when you're stamping it on a watercolor surface, it tends to, the ink tends to stick to the stamp. And so when you stamp it down on the paper, it actually has ripped my paper at times, or it'll just pull the ink right back off onto the stamp. So I use I use the basic black archival ink from Stampin' Up. It's a permanent ink. It's a pigment-based ink. So when you stamp it, it's solid and it doesn't stick to the photopolymer stamp sets. And this is it right here. So it works beautifully with the photopolymer stamp sets, and I noticed that it's a really nice and juicy and inky, so much so that I managed to mess this little monster up. You see what I did there? It's got the little black on its stomach. I was super upset about that. But because it's a permanent archival ink, I was not able to do anything about it. So on the next two monsters, I was much more gentle and tried to make sure not to push so hard. And things like that happen. I won't throw it away or start over because I am not one of those people. I believe that we are handmade, not Hallmark. So if you don't have a little bit of a mess up on your card, then, you know, what are we doing this for, right? So I was totally fine with that little monster being there, or that little mark being there on the monster. So now I have a piece of basic black cardstock, and I use my embossing buddy because I am going to heat emboss the Monster Hugs sentiment onto this black cardstock, and I'm going to use the white embossing powder from Stampin' Up. Now, for whatever reason, Stampin' Up's embossing powder is not white. It's kind of very vanilla. It's a little bit off-white, which works great when you're using watercolor paper because watercolor paper isn't bright white. It is kind of an off-white or a cream color. So it blended really, really nicely with my card, and I was really happy about that. So I keep my white embossing powder in this big tub. You can see there it's kind of got a yellowish tinge to it. It's not bright white. And that works great in some instances. In other instances, it makes me want to cry. But we'll not talk about that. I digress. So I've got the Monster Hug sentiment there, and I just heat set it. And then I wanted to make sure that everything was dry on the front of my card. And I'm taking my awesome foam tape here. You can get this foam tape at a hardware store, Walmart. I order mine on Amazon because it's free shipping, 2-day shipping. And the link for that will be on my listed below in the description below. And so I'm just covering this entire watercolor piece with foam tape. Now, you might think, my goodness, this is excessive. The reason I use so much is because you noticed it was warped. The paper was warped earlier when I was showing that to you. Now, one way that you can prevent warping is to use painter's tape and tape down the edges of your cardstock when you spray it with water. That will help. But if you don't do that, like I did, then you just cover your piece with foam tape and adhere it down to the card, and you'll never know that there was any warping at all. It's just very, very sturdy and steady, and it sticks right down with no problem. Okay, so another item that's retiring is the beautiful Designer Series paper stacks. These are huge stacks. I think there's 48 sheets in a stack. Right here, I'm using one of the foam tape backings to put my adhesive on because the adhesive goes off the sides of the paper. So then it just sticks to this little adhesive backer here and doesn't make a mess. So there's a little tip for you. Okay, so I'm taking this Designer Series paper, it's mint macaron, and I'm going to adhere it down. Now, not only are the in colors retiring, but all of the colors that have these paper stacks, all the paper stacks are retiring. The colors are not retiring, but the paper stacks are retiring. So there are these huge paper stacks, and if I remember right, there's 48 sheets in a stack. And they are retiring, and I'm so sad to see them go. I'm heartbroken about it because I use them so much. I mean, really, I use them all the time. So I'm pretty heartbroken that they're not going to be carrying them anymore. So if you have an opportunity to stock up on those, I highly recommend it because it's a lot of bang for your buck. You get a ton of cards or a ton of paper. It's got great designs, super trendy designs, and it'll last you forever. I mean, mine have lasted me a ton of time. So anyway, I'm doing a little strip there of mint macaron, and then I've got this little thin strip of silver glimmer paper, which is just gorgeous. And then on top of that, I am going to layer down my little Monster Hugs sentiment. And you can see here, I just have to trim off the little bit of excess I had there. And so I've got my little Monster Hug sentiment. I'm going to use my paper snips to just snip in and create kind of a little bit of a ribbon or fishtail, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't quite get it the way I wanted it there, so I had to do a little extra card surgery. And then I'll just adhere it down right here using the one and only Stampin' Dimensionals. And you can see my little mess up there on the back. So I have my dimensionals here, and I'm going to use those to layer this down to pop it up to give this card one last element. And then after I do this, I decided, you know what? These monsters really needed to be shimmery and shiny because I just, they weren't being done justice here. So I went ahead and I grabbed my clear Wink of Stella pen, which thank God is not being retired. You can still purchase that from Stampin' Up. And I just went right over the top of these monsters. Now, let me share with you, while I'm getting my Wink of Stella pen and while I'm Wink of Stella-ing these, yes, that is a word, let me just share with you my thought process with these little guys. I wanted it to feel and look like they were happy and stinky because they're monsters. So like in cartoons where the little critters toot or something and there's like the green smoke behind them, or there's like this halo of dust or dirt around them. That was my goal with the monsters. I was trying to create this feel or this sense that they were dirty and stinky and there was all this goobery stuff coming off all around them. So I think that worked out well for this card, and they do look stinky and kind of gross. The colors I stamped them in are perfect monster colors, and then the little hearts coming off of them in their own colors just is like they're just these happy little love monsters, and they're sending lots of hugs. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I would encourage you to please go to my blog and hop along to all the amazing, talented bloggers that posted. And if you want to see more videos from me, you can click on either of the videos that you see here. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would love that. You could click on the little circle that has my face in it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment below, and tell me what you would like to see in a future video. Sometimes it's hard for us YouTube creators to come up with ideas. So you tell me what you want to see. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I'll catch you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.